In early 2020, no one would ever believe or imagine that a virus akin to a flu, though deadlier, might crush economies and put people out of work and companies out of business on a large scale. And the link between the contraction of the microscopic infectious agent and the subsequent collapse of the entire global economy was hard to fathom. And nevertheless, it happened. COVID has taken lots of lives. Many businesses went bankrupt and non-existent, and the government stepped up to put restrictions around the movement and physical contact of people in hopes to stop the virus spread. And people who didn't lose their lives lost their jobs to COVID. People became out of work and unemployment picture became very gloomy. Then came vaccines, stimulus checks, and unemployment benefits to keep people afloat and have them provide food for their families and pay rent in those difficult times. And government ultimate goal was to put people back to work once the pandemic blows over or subsides. In the end, what do we have? We still have high unemployment rate on the other hand, and labor shortage, which seems to contradict each other and make little sense, or as a Business Insider label it, jobless jobs boom. Imagine the soccer team is missing 5 out of 11 required players on a pitch while there are 5 subs perfectly available on the bench. And how is it possible, you may ask? It's a totally legitimate question, so please bear with me until the end of the video while I'll try to clear it up for you. Hey guys, my name is Manchuk and welcome to my channel. If you guys appreciate all the research and time I put to create this video and share all my knowledge with you and my opinion about the job market and what employers tend to think behind the corporate doors, just do me a little favor and like this video. This will help my channel grow. Unemployment is the situation where people who can work actively look for jobs and can't find it. It includes people who actively look for work after they were laid off or let go, yet it doesn't include people who stopped looking for a job in the past 4 weeks because they went back to school, retired, or for other personal reasons. And oddly enough, people who don't look actively for a job but do want to work are not part of the definition of unemployment. So you need to be active in the job market. Unemployment can take many forms, and the most frequent type is called demand deficit or cyclical unemployment. It basically means there is not enough demand for workers, which is typically due to reduction in the demand for products and services. There are also frictional unemployment, which is when workers actively looking for a job after they were let go. And basically, frictional refers to those that are in between jobs. When there is a skill mismatch and geographical mismatch between the supply and demand of a labor market, it's called structural unemployment. So this refers to when workers lack skills required to do the job available to them and when they are not where the jobs are geographically. And also when workers are not in demand due to technological change such as introduction of machines capable of performing workers' jobs, then such unemployment falls under structural unemployment too. Finally, when you quit your job for personal reasons such as low salary or subpar benefits and are actually looking for a job, it's called voluntary unemployment. So if you look at the facts on the ground in today's world where the COVID pandemic has been ravaging economies over the past 1.5 years, it's not a secret that the virus is the #1 culprit for high unemployment in the US, Canada, UK, and the rest of the world. We are witnessing is the demand deficit unemployment plus coupled with frictional and structural types, and of course voluntary unemployment to some extent. A long story short, things are pretty bad on the labor and employment front. As of late June 2021, there were 9.5 million open jobs in the US, and that's record high number. The opposite of unemployment is a labor shortage, and it means the demand of the workforce surpassed the supply of the jobs, or in other words, when there are more jobs than workers. As I mentioned earlier, the US is actually experiencing both unemployment levels and labor shortage at the moment, and it seems that employers across the country are struggling to close the job openings with the qualified qualified workforce, and the big chunk of that remains unemployed. And there are a lot of reasons for that, and let's uncover them. The first and obvious reason of the labor shortage is stagnant wages. Stagnant wages have been a major problem for decades, and to put things in perspective, in 1968, the federal minimum wage was $1.6 an hour. In 2021, dollars adjusted for inflation, the equivalent federal minimum wage would need to be 12.38 cents, but instead it's only $7.25, which should have been the rate in 1996. So even before COVID, people were actually being underpaid, but they didn't have enough leeway and leverage to demand or negotiate higher wages. Second reason is that as the economy reopened and more people became vaccinated against COVID, many economists thought that people would quickly return to work. $5 trillion federal stimulus passed by Congress this March provided unemployed people with unemployment benefits to keep them from becoming homeless and insolvent, but more importantly, to revive the economy through consumer spending. It seems that the labor shortage is partly because unemployment benefits are too high and enough to keep people from working on their jobs. And some people that can work are indeed taking advantage of the relief package benefits. People are now spending their benefits money on products and services, but there are not enough people to deliver those products and services, and that's quite interesting, don't you think so? Third and obvious reason for labor crisis is that workers now demand a better work-life balance and flexibility in work schedules. The pandemic forced many businesses to make decisions that were unthinkable and even impossible for the most traditional CEOs before COVID, such as sending everyone home to work remotely. After working from home for quite some time, people realized that better work flexibility is possible, and now it's on everyone's list of must-have benefits for a job. If they are not allowed to telecommute, then they are ready to pass on the job and quit it. And the Great Resignation is in full swing, and if you haven't watched my video about the Great Resignation, click on the link that will appear on the screen right now. Fourth reason for the great labor shortage is due to the lack of childcare facilities that keep people, especially women, out of work. People want to work, but they can't because they need to take care of their children who have also been stuck at home since daycares and schools have been unavailable or not completely available for in-person attendance, and providing online classes to kids who need help from their caregivers. Reason number 5 of the great jobless job boom is that people want more rights. It seems the pandemic gave people freedom, courage, and confidence to voice their concern and demand more rights, better benefits, and less stress. The unemployment benefits strengthened workers' bargaining power in that sense that now they can fall back on benefits if they don't want to work or don't like their work. And also people started to see more opportunities to fragment their work and provide services to several other clients and become either freelancers or just entrepreneurs with multiple income streams. Next, great labor shortage is due to the mismatch of skills possessed by workers with skills that are required by jobs. So for workers who were pushed out of the workforce, the available jobs may not fit well with their past experience, and I don't believe the pandemic has caused it, but it definitely contributed to the further aggravation of the problem. There is also a geographical mismatch, which essentially means that the location of the job is different than the location of workers, or jobs are not there where workers are. And the trend has taken hold over the past years, and the great migration or the rise of digital nomad lifestyles as a result of the pandemic has accelerated the outflow of Americans from urban to suburban or rural areas, or even out of the country. Well, the American Rescue Plan of 2021, or simply put, stimulus package passed by Congress, extended unemployment benefits with $600 weekly supplement and provided grants to small businesses and among other things. So the recipient received an additional $600 in weekly benefits on top of what they have been receiving from the state. And the idea was to revive the economy by providing checks to families to spend on the goods and services. What is interesting that vaccination did help reopen the economy and bring things back to pre-pandemic normal to some extent, but it has not really addressed the unemployment problem, and that's because there is a labor shortage. And now the government has to deal with another issue that resulted from dealing with unemployment. And to solve unemployment levels, the government reduced those $600 per week in additional unemployment payments from $600 to $300, and is currently set to end in September this year. The state primary reasoning for ending the benefits is that if unemployed individuals are receiving less money through benefits, they will be more likely to find a job and alleviate the worker shortage. But for the vast majority of unemployment benefits recipients, this is probably not true for the reasons I already described earlier. So I will be keeping tabs on the future development of the situation and will hope that both the government, businesses, and workers will find a middle ground and find their way out of this crisis. So thank you guys for watching. I wish you good luck in getting what you want from your professional life. Make sure you press the like button, subscribe button, and notification bell. All the useful links are in the description, so click on them too. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye.